For Pacifica Radio, I'm Scott Baba. The United Nations top court decided today to not throw out South Africa's case of genocide against Israel for its war in Gaza as requested by Israel, but stopped short of ordering a ceasefire. Presiding Judge Joan Donoghue announced the decision.
The court concludes that, prima facie, it has jurisdiction pursuant to Article 9 of the Convention to entertain the case. Given this conclusion, the court considers that it cannot accede to Israel's request that the case be removed from the general list.
South Africa originally brought the case to the UN's International Court of Justice last month and had asked the court to order Israel to halt its operation. While the ruling stopped short of that and is not in itself a decision on whether Israel has committed genocide, it nonetheless amounted to an overwhelming rebuke of Israel's wartime conduct. It adds to mounting international pressure to halt the offensive that has killed more than 26,000 Palestinians, decimated vast swaths of Gaza, and has driven nearly 85% of the territory's 2.3 million people from their homes. The court ordered 6 so-called provisional measures to protect Palestinians in Gaza, demanding that Israel try to limit deaths and damage caused by its military offensive there. Many of the measures were approved by an overwhelming majority of the 17-judge panel. An Israeli judge voted in favor of 2 of the 6. Donoghue said the court asked Israel to put in place strategies to prevent genocide and allow access for desperately needed aid.
The court indicates the following provisional measures. 1. By 15 votes to 2, the State of Israel shall, in accordance with its obligations under the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide in relation to the Palestinians in Gaza, take all measures within its power to prevent the commission of all acts within the scope of Article 2 of the Convention.
Provisional measures by the World Court are legally binding, but it is not clear if Israel will comply with them. After the ruling, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu rejected the genocide claims as, quote, outrageous, and vowed to press ahead with the war. Today's decision is only an interim one. It could take years for the full case brought by South Africa to be considered. Russia and Ukraine are trading accusations over Wednesday's fiery crash of a military transport plane in Russia's Belgorod region. Ben Thomas reports.
Moscow says it was carrying Ukrainian prisoners of war, and Kyiv's forces shot it down. At the UN Security Council, Russia's representative said it looks to be a premeditated crime.
The Russian side was supposed to ensure the same level of safety of the Ukrainian captured servicemen.
Ukraine's Kristina Hayovyshin says
the Ukrainian side was not informed of the need to secure the airspace in the area of Belgorod city during the specified period.
She maintains Russia bears full responsibility for the lives of Ukrainian prisoners of war.
Ukraine was not informed about the number of vehicles, routes, and means of transportation of the captives,
and called for an international investigation.
This alone may constitute intentional actions by Russia to endanger the lives and safety of the prisoners.
I'm Ben Thomas.
A report by Reuters says China is asking officials in Iran to help rein in attacks on ships in the Red Sea by the Houthi rebels. The report says that several meetings have taken place between the two sides in Beijing and Tehran recently. Patrick Falk reports.
The report, quoting 4 Iranian sources and a diplomat, says China warned Iran that if its interests are harmed in any way, then it would impact its business with Tehran, adding that Beijing told Iran to tell the Houthis to show restraint. Attacks by Houthis on merchant vessels in the Red Sea have driven the cost of shipping and insurance higher in a key trade route between Asia and Europe. China is Iran's top buyer of oil, and imports have hit record highs despite the threat of U.S. sanctions. Patrick Falk, Singapore.
Nikki Haley has resisted calls to drop out of the Republican presidential nomination race despite losing both the Iowa and New Hampshire GOP primaries to former President Donald Trump. Farah Siddiqui has more.
A super PAC supporting former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley is reportedly bringing in significant donations, and Haley herself is sounding defiant about the Republican nomination fight.
Bring it, Donald. Show me what you got.
Trump insulted Haley yesterday, and he posted on social media that anybody that makes a contribution to Bird Brain will be permanently banned from the MAGA camp. Former Trump spokesman Anthony Scaramucci calls that a sign of frustration.
This is really hurting Donald Trump. He knows that, which is why he's so frustrated and why he's launching all these threats.
I'm Farah Siddiqui for Pacifica Network and Public News Service.
A memorial service for National Security Advisor and Secretary of State Henry Kissinger in New York was met with protests yesterday. Activists chanted, "Burn Henry, burn," as they remembered the 4 million people Kissinger's actions have killed across the globe. Activists held up signs that read, "Henry Kissinger, war criminal." I'm Scott Baba for Pacifica Radio.